Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports.
And welcome, everybody, to FanStream Sports, powered by DSP Media. This is the Fighting Irish Daily Blitz, and I'm your host, Rob Thidoff, also known as RPT. You can find me on Twitter at PThidoff. So for episode 59 today, we're going to do a review of women's hoops from the previous week. It was a good week record-wise. We went 2-0. However, it wasn't a pretty week. It was some very rough games, but they got the wins. So let's first look at the turnovers. As I mentioned in previous podcasts, as of 1/1/2023, the first of the year, they're averaging 16 turnovers, which is way too high. That's the biggest thing besides getting healthy that's going to either make this team go really far in the tournament or an early exit in the tournament. So against Pitt on Thursday, they had 13. It's not 16, but it's still too many. And then yesterday against Syracuse, both of these games were at home, 13 turnovers as well. It's still too many. And that's another concern, or it's still a concern right now, that has got to get down in order to make a run in the NCAA tournament. They played Pitt on Thursday, ACC Network at 6 o'clock. Pitt comes in at 7-16. This game is at Notre Dame, and Pitt just hangs around pretty much the entire game until we pull away late. Pitt actually led by 3 points in the fourth quarter. It's a game we should have won by a lot more. I will give Pitt, they're a tough, hard-nosed team despite the record, but it was the turnovers, just sloppy play. It was another game without Lauren Ebo. There's still no timetable for her to come back to the team right now, as we are down to 8 scholarship players. So Maddie Westbeld had a really good game. She had a double-double, 17 points, 10 rebounds. Olivia Miles almost had a triple-double, 11 points, 7 rebounds, and 13 assists. Sonia Citron, pretty good game at 20 points. Cass Prosper off the bench, 8 points. I can't say enough about this kid. She was in high school 2 months ago. Early enrollee, just great energy. It's sometimes sink or swim with her. With all that great energy, she'll make some really good plays, but then she'll just have some, you just shake your head. She'll hit a couple threes, but then airball a couple threes, maybe a turnover here and there. But I just love the energy. And we're just going to have to take the good with the bad with her right now because she's so young and inexperienced at the college level. But then I take a step back here. Kylie Watson, she's a junior transfer, 6'4". She is a hard worker, but I know with the injury to Dara Mabry, Coach Ivey has tried to get more of an inside game with the height advantage we've had against various teams. And Kylie Watson just does not look confident right now, at least not for this game as we get into the next game in about 2 minutes. But Kylie Watson, she can be just wide open underneath the basket, but I don't know if she's going to hit the layup. She just has this weird, unorthodox shot where she's pushing the ball too much. It should be more of a clean motion, especially when you're 21, 22 years old now, 6'4". It's one thing to be a good shooter. Sometimes you're never become a good shooter, but there still should be some fluidity with her shots. And I just don't see that, especially at the free throw line. She airballed one, and she's come close to airballing multiple times at the free throw line. We ended up beating Pitt, and our record went from 19-4 and 10-3 in the ACC. Second place right behind Duke. So Syracuse yesterday, Super Bowl Sunday, they come in 16-9, 7-7. Not a great team, but not a bad team as well. Very tough, hard-nosed team, similar to Pitt, but better athletes and a better team altogether. It starts out, I'm going to be pretty negative here too. Olivia Miles is turning the ball over left and right. She has like 3 turnovers right away. Can't do that. Sonia Citron is in early foul trouble. She has to sit. Maddie Westbeld cannot hit a layup. She also missed 2 free throws back to back. That's another thing with this team right now too. Besides the injuries and turnovers, we're not hitting our free throws, and those are gimme points right there. That can win you the game or lose you the game. But when you get to the line, you got to hit those. With the women's game, there's no 1-and-1. Once you get 5 fouls, it's 2 shots. Kylie Watson, they're getting the ball to her inside because we have such of a height advantage. Horrible foul shooting. Here's a positive spark though. Nat Marshall, she did not play much before Dara Mabry was hurt and before Lauren Ebo was hurt. I believe she's a sophomore or junior. She's 6'5". You got to get her on the court. This is still a tall person's game. Coach Ivy, you should not let it come down to so many injuries for someone to play. I always said until you start playing, there's no way you're going to get really better. You can improve on some fundamentals, but what a concept. The more you play, the more of a chance you are to become a better player. And I think that's with Nat Marshall. She played a really good floor game, and I'll get into the stats a little bit later here. But she's 6'5". You got to find, even when Lauren Ebo comes back, you got to still play Nat Marshall because there's some potential there, especially with her height. So what else here? So let's go into the stats right now. Free throws, 20 out of 30. We missed 10 free throws. That's not good enough. That's 67%. But before I get into more of the stats here, I want to focus on one thing because the free throw shooting has been getting worse with each game. I know it's been 30 years since I played in high school, but I just remember as the season went on, you focus less on, I mean, you want to be well conditioned, but you're not doing suicide sprints, the line drills, going, hard scrimmage more or less, 5-on-5. You're trying to focus more on conditioning where your practices went from 2 hours, now they're down to about 45 minutes to an hour. At least that's what it was. I still think that's the case today. And then you're also focusing more on just becoming better shooters. So you're doing a lot of shooting drills and then also free throw drills. And I think Coach Ivy has a great opportunity now by focusing more on, and I'm sure she's not running the girls left and right, focusing more on their conditioning as we hit that March Madness, uh, more or less next month, and focus on those free throws, focus on getting to be a better shooter. Because Olivia Miles, the great player that she is, I always call her the Jason Kidd of the women's game, but she's shooting like Jason Kidd right now too. He was not a great shooter. He's pretty much a poor shooter. And she's just missing open shots that she should be hitting. And I just think taking this time to focus less on, I mean, they're doing film study as well, I'm sure, but let's really start focusing on free throws and just shooting in general because, especially the free throws, because those, as I mentioned earlier, those could win or lose you the game. So let's get into it here. Uh, 67% free throw shooting, that's not good enough. However, because of that size advantage that we have since Dara Mabry's injury, we out rebounded Syracuse 39-31. And we led by 13 points in the third quarter, but Syracuse goes on this awesome run in the third quarter. They end up hitting 12 out of 17 shots and scoring 30 points in the third quarter. But we do end up winning this game. Before I get into more of the stats, we end up winning the game. I got all these sets of notes here. 73-64, despite the 13 turnovers. We go to 20-4 and 11-3 in the ACC. But as I continue the stats here, no Lauren Ebo, but this was okay. We got no Lauren Ebo, big inside presence. No Dara Mabry, that 3-point shooting. But this was the first game since both of those injuries where this was a total team effort, which I love. I still don't see this team at the moment going to the Final Four. I have their ceiling right now as a Sweet 16 team. But if they play like they did yesterday, despite the turnovers, despite the poor free throw shooting, but really stepping up each player, knowing their role, and just improving as a player in general, this team can make that Final Four run. Because here's the thing, Kylie Watson, even though she's still pushing that ball when she's shooting underneath the basket wide open, and her free throw shooting was bad to start the game, but it improved at the end. 15 points, 7 rebounds. That's probably one of her best games of the season. Maddie Westbeld had a decent game, 14 points, 7 rebounds. The only negative, 3 of 6 from the free throw line. KK Bransford had 10 points. Olivia Miles, 13 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, but 5 of 8 from the free throw line. That's got improved, and 4 turnovers. That's the big thing. I don't care if she has a triple double. She cannot. I'll give her 2 turnovers a game. That's enough. She cannot go over 2. Sonia Citron, she was the only one She was in foul trouble most of the game, only 7 points. She did have 2 steals and 4 assists and hit a big 3-pointer to get us back in the lead in the fourth quarter because we did trail uh, by 3 points. What was it in my notes? I got tons of notes here. We trailed by 4 in the third, and when Syracuse made that run, and then 1 in the fourth. But Sonia made that big three. It wasn't her greatest game, but she still contributed as this team concept that I can't stress enough. Cass Prosper, 7 points, 4 rebounds, just a great floor game again for her. Jenna Brown, she did not hardly play at all before the 2 big injuries this year. She didn't have any points, but she just played a really good floor game and just contributed in itself. Gave Olivia Miles a break because she's playing a lot of minutes right now as well with Dara being out. But just that great floor game, and she had solid minutes. That's the word I was looking for, just solid minutes. We currently were 10th in both polls as of yesterday, and then today I just saw this as it's 5:30 right now. Monday night. We're still 10th, and I think that's a good spot for us right now. I don't see us a top 5 team right now. Beginning of the year, I did see that, but with the injuries and the turnover still being a problem, and now the free throw shooting, 10th is really good right now. And they did release the pre-seeding last week, and currently we're a 3 seed, and I do agree with that now. I don't see us as a 1 or a 2, but if we end up making a run, and not to get ahead of myself too much right now, if we do make a run into the ACC and win the ACC, I can see us being a 2. I don't see us as a 1. It would take some upsets to get to a 1 seed, but I see us topping out as a 2 if we win the rest of our regular season games and then win the ACC tournament, or at least get to the finals of the ACC. So let's go back to my notes here. So here's the big thing now. I'm starting to see Coach Ivy. She knows she has that inside presence advantage. Right now because we have Lauren Ebo. If she comes back, she's 6'3" or 6'4". Kylie Watson 6'4". Nat Marshall, got to get her involved more. She's 6'5". If all of us start just to contribute, like yesterday was just a perfect example of everybody knowing their role and contributing to the best of their ability, despite the turnovers. And if we just get people stepping up left and right, and then we get Lauren Ebo back, cut down on the turnovers, get the free throws in that 80-90%. I'd love 100%, but that's wishful thinking at times. This team can make a run. I just got to think. I'm not inside Coach Ivy's mind, but I think she's thinking too. I think I'm on to something now. We're getting that inside game going. Kylie Watson, she still has to work on that shot, her free throws, but she's gaining more confidence now. She's in double figures yesterday. If we can get Lauren back, that's even more of a positive. Nat Marshall's playing great. Everybody that played yesterday played with confidence, at least for the most part during the game, and they're starting to find their roles. And if you get them on a roll, I think the sky's the limit. I'm still not saying Final Four because we just have so many what ifs right now with only 8 scholarship players, and the turnovers are still an issue. But the big thing is we just have to use yesterday's game as a stepping stone because everybody just seemed to know their role perfectly. Um, I know they made mistakes. You're going to make mistakes during the game, but that is just I just really thought we found something yesterday, and I think Coach Ivy's thinking that as well. So next Thursday, we have Louisville. They did not start out the year that great, but they're currently 19-8, 10-4 in the ACC, and third in the ACC. That's going to be a tough game. They always play us pretty well, regardless. And that is at Notre Dame. It's on ESPN, 7 p.m. Thursday, and then Sunday at Pitt, who we played last week. They're bottom of the ACC, but they played us pretty tough at home. So I got to think they're going to want revenge. We still should win that game, but I think that's going to be a tough game still. 2 p.m. on the ACC Network Extra. That's the one. You may get it, you may not. You have to use your cable provider to see if you have that. But this is a big week for us, especially with Louisville. That's going to be a big game because if we lose that, now we're back down into third place in the ACC. But the thing was with yesterday, everybody just seemed to know their role, which is a big thing. And I think I can't say this enough. I think Coach Ivy knows she's found something with this inside game. We just got to get. This was a stepping stone yesterday especially with Kylie Watson, Nat Marshall. They're finally getting some confidence now. They still got a long way to go, but I think we found something to propel us to make this run. So this week we have it's at Notre Dame, Thursday against Louisville. Louisville started the season very slow, but they're 19-8, and they're currently 10-4 in the ACC. That's third. So we want to keep pace with Duke right now. They're one, we're two. But if we would lose against Louisville, now we're tied for third, and we don't have that head-to-head win against Louisville. So that's a big game coming up this Thursday. That's ESPN, 7 o'clock. And then at Pitt, who we just played last week, but that was a tough, grinded out win, 2 p.m. this Sunday on the ACC Network Extra. That's the channel, if you want to call it a channel, that you have to have your cable provider have that connection. And with YouTube TV, I currently do not have that. So I may just have to look at highlights for that. So I can't say it enough about yesterday's win. It was an ugly win. It got a little bit scary there, losing that 13-point lead in the third quarter. However, this is something we may be on to something if we can just cut those turnovers down, get the free throws back up. We have individuals that didn't have roles earlier in the year that are finding their roles now. And if we can get Lauren Evo back, maybe I'm not saying Sweet 16 is the best we can do this year. So thank you so much for joining for episode 59. And as always, go White.